I'm O.W. Root, and this is Pleasant Peninsula. Pleasant Peninsula. I think that this episode might be the first episode where the name is really felt. I love the winter. You have to love the winter if you live in the north. But you also have to hate the winter a little bit too. It's the winter. And I have to say, sitting out here without a coat on, under the clear sky, listening to the birds, light breeze in my hair, this is pleasant. -3 biting winds, less pleasant. Beautiful first day of spring, perhaps, very pleasant. I don't have the fire next to me. It would be too hot. Instead, I have these birch branches from the birch that was taken down right over here from the ice storm. What makes that first day of spring? Is it the first pleasant day outside where I'm not wearing a coat? Is it the day where the big ice mountains in the Meijer parking lot, those big ugly brown things, finally disappear? Is that the first day of spring? Is it the first night you can go on a walk outside and not have to bundle up, but enjoy the air, enjoy the night? That's what it was for me last night. I like walking in the winter at night. And I love walking in general. It's something that's good for you and allows you to think. There's something beautiful about walking in the winter at night, but it's a severe experience. You're more like Ernest Shackleton, bundling up, protecting yourself from the harsh winds. But last night, I walked downtown. It was mid-50s, walking by the houses, seeing the little yellow lights coming through the blinds. A lot of the balconies and the front porches with lights around, the kind of lights that you see in the summer that people put out because people are outside in the summer, eating, drinking, enjoying the night. And it felt like the spring and the summer. It felt like coming out into the world rather than hiding inside. I walked down and I looked over the bay, over at the lights on Harbor Springs, over that invisible black water, that breeze coming off the lake. Divine. Instead of shuddering like this, you know, when we go outside, we tense up, clench our teeth together in the winter. Instead of that, I just sat there and I was able to feel that beautiful breeze finally on my skin. And it was lovely. It was invigorating. It was exhilarating. And that sounds extreme, but it's true. To fully just embrace and be outside without needing to cover up, without needing to protect yourself, and be happy about it and refreshed. Maybe that's the first moment of spring. Water bottles. Summer's coming. The temperature's heating up. You better get your water bottle out. You gotta stay hydrated, right? You've gotta get the most expensive water bottle you can find. No, you do not need the most expensive water bottle you can find. You do not need a water bottle, in fact. And why do you not need a water bottle? You do not need a water bottle because water bottles are lame. You know it. I know it. We all know it. They are. They are lame. And you know, people don't like to remember that they were not a thing before. People don't like to be reminded of the fact that they are lame. And the reason why that is because people don't like to think about the fact that things are lamer than they used to be. And so for that reason, they don't like to think about the fact that, 20 years ago, nobody carried water bottles around. The idea of a professional walking around in a professional business environment, carrying a water bottle in 1992, and that's not 20 years ago, it's more than 20 years ago, but that would be insane. That was not a thing. My parents thought that buying water in a plastic bottle, just spending money on water, not going to the tap, they thought that was crazy. I distinctly remember them saying, we live in Michigan, we've got water everywhere. Why would you pay for water? You're not drinking water out of the Great Lakes, obviously, but that it was just crazy to them to do that. And I remember when I was a kid, there were no kids with water bottles. There were no, the school wasn't full of a cacophony of water bottles. Parents weren't obsessed with making sure every single kid got 86 fluid ounces every day. No, this is what you did. You went to the water fountain, you took a drink. You went out to a restaurant, you asked for a cup of water. Before dinner, you went over to the sink, filled up your glass with water, you sat down and you ate dinner. That was it. It was fine. I was there. Water bottles were not a thing, let alone smart water bottles. Today, you have smart water bottles that track, they sync up with the Apple Watch, the iPhone, to all this. It's an exercise in futile fastidiousness, being overly fastidious and kind of neurotic. And that's part of why water bottles are so lame. It's because the feeling of being overly fastidious and kind of neurotic about things puts us off. It doesn't feel kind of human, really, in a way. It's irritating. We want to feel carefree. We want to live. We want to enjoy life. We don't want to constantly be worried about, where's my water bottle? Where's my water bottle? I've got to fill up my water bottle. Oh, I got to drink all my ounces. No. I'm going to go to the restaurant, I'm going to sit down and drink a glass of water. That's it. I want to stop at the fountain when we're thirsty, get some water. And, that's part of a big conversation about tracking sleep health and how many steps you take each day and all this sort of stuff. I'm being kind of obsessed with this stuff unnecessarily. That's a kind of a weird neurotic problem in our society today. But there's also some really just simple reasons why it's so lame as well that don't really need philosophical explanations. It looks lame. It just does. You know it. Again, you know it, I know it, we all know it. I want you to look up photos, or just remember. But photos will help because our memories are sometimes a little foggy. Look up photos of people from the 30s, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all these different decades. There's a bunch of different styles, from the grungy 90s all the way back to the more refined early 20th century. You see these photos, you say, wow, those people, they look so cool, they look so elegant, they look so beautiful. They're beautifully aesthetic photos. And even though there's a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different eras, there's one thing that unites them all. It is that in all those photos, you will never find a water bottle. No, you cannot look cool with a water bottle. You cannot look elegant with a water bottle. I would like you to try to take a photo that looks elegant, looks cool, looks carefree, looks nonchalant, looks nice with a water bottle sitting on the table. It's impossible to do. The water bottle is anti-style. It is anti-aesthetic. It is anti-art. It is pointless utilitarianism. And I know I've kind of criticized the water bottle a lot here. And you might be wondering, well, what are we supposed to do then? As I said, it's very simple. We went to the drinking fountains, we got water at the restaurant, we filled up our cup before dinner. But let's go to that first part about the drinking fountains. Imagine a world, a water bottle-free world. Imagine returning to a world of water fountains. That's what Harbor Springs has. If you walk around downtown Harbor Springs, there are these beautiful water fountains constantly bubbling. You don't even have to push them down. They're blub, 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 bubbling. And they're coming out of brick pillars. It's beautiful brick pillars with simple beauty. And even beautiful polished stone. They have a water fountain, a spigot coming out of this beautiful stone. Engraved on the side. It's beautiful. This is public art, really. In a way that isn't lame. I mean, we see so much public art, and a lot of public art is not public art. It's more like public harassment. But I'm serious about this. A beautiful water fountain, stone water fountain. That bubbling, constant bubbling. You walk by and you hear it. It reminds you of the water fountains in Rome. In Rome, they have these water fountains that are constantly bubbling. It's a beautiful sound. It's a beautiful scene. It's natural. It's public. It's refreshing. It really is public art in a sense. We all want to make the world more beautiful. Or maybe some of us aren't aware of how much we need to make the world more beautiful, but many of us are. And if we want to make the world more beautiful, there's a lot of ways to do it. A real easy one is getting rid of water bottles and bringing back water fountains, beautiful water fountains. And I want to say one last disclaimer. I can hear the outdoorsmen, the hikers saying, what about me? I go on these 35-mile hikes. You expecting me not to have a water bottle? No. If you were going on a 35-mile hike into the wilderness, you should bring a canteen. Absolutely. You are not the same. Do not worry. You're not the same as the guy filling up his smart water bottle on his way to his 9 to 5 where he has a fake email job and he walks about 45 steps a day. No, you're not the same. You need a canteen. And if you have a debilitating health issue where you need to consume large amounts of water and you need to track it, yes, do that. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the normal people. I'm talking about the 6-year-old. They don't need the water bottle everywhere. I'm talking about the guy who's walking around with the backpack with the water bottle constantly dingling around the back, worried about his water bottle. You don't need it. What you need is a beautiful water fountain. You need to live freely. You need to live in a beautiful society, absent water bottles. We need to end water bottle world and return to water fountains. I'm O.W. Root for Michigan Enjoyer.